Aloha mai kako, a Komamaida curtain call, a weekly program of reviews, previews, interviews, and features of and or with the great art and artists on Maui and beyond. I'm Paul James Brown. This past weekend was one for the ages. It started out with a drive over to Lahaina to see the latest Maui Public Art installation at the Lahaina Cannery Mall. If you haven't been over there in a while, you are in for a pleasant surprise. The place has gone through a major renovation. Walking in through the automatic doors, one is greeted by a host of boutiques. As one walks to the front street side of the building, you come to an area where there are seats, a stage, and several food stands. Where the old stage was is a bank. This is where the installation is. These are 21 watercolor portraits on 11 panels by Maui artist Christina Wine through a Maui Strong grant. Ms. Wine is also an ocean resource specialist for the Kaʻoʻolave Island Reserve Commission. These portraits are of Lahaina community members who participated in the Hui Moʻolelo Lahaina storytelling sessions. This process allows the artists to be guided by the storytelling of the participants. Each panel has a portrait or portraits with a sentient comment from their story, and beneath the quote is a summary of what their story is. If the viewer wants to hear the entire story, there are 2 hashtags on each panel. One will allow the viewer to hear the entire story, and the other will provide the viewer with a short excerpt. I'll now take you through each panel and provide you with an excerpt of the statement. This is Reverend Gensho Hara, speaking to his daughter Yayoi Hara. Quote, "When I arrived in Lahaina, the elders called it a lonely place. I felt only hope." Unquote. Hainsbert Freeland, speaking to his daughter Jennifer Freeland, quote, "My vision, when you go in the Pioneer Hotel, here's a portrait of my grandfather and Dad side by side," unquote. The next portrait is of Kalapana Kolars, who co-facilitated this Moʻolelo. Quote, "My goal in life is to be a good listener, good observer, good learner, and good carrier," unquote. Next to him is his partner, Anuhea Yagi, who also co-facilitated this Moʻolelo. Quote, "This is a safe place to express both the vulnerability and boldness that's required in sharing these deeply personal stories," unquote. Here is Coach Earl Kukahiko, who shared his story with Kaliko Storer, quote, "That is what a community is all about. It's about caring for people," unquote. This is Theo Morrison, a longtime Lahaina resident and community activist with Aaron Wade, Planning and Development Chief of the County of Maui. Ms. Morrison said in part, quote, "That is the biggest part of the tragedy of the fire, because we lost everything that makes a town, unquote. Abraham Snake Ahi and Myrna Ahi were interviewed by Lopaka White, quote, "Lahaina, the heartbeat of Maui, was a world of vivid memories. Our tight-knit community knew deep ocean connections and the joy of simple shared abundance, a spirit we hold dear," unquote. Here are Mr. Tom Fujita, an octogenarian Lahaina Luna High School class of 1962 native, who talks story with Dean Tokishi of the Kaʻoʻolave Island Reserve Commission. Quote, "My dad used to go in by himself, check the net. As I grew older, I used to go out with him. Then, when I got older, he stayed on the shore, and I go," unquote. Teva Medeiros is Timothy's grandson. He has 8 decades of life in Lahaina. Quote, "Lahaina is like a healing remedy. You get the ocean, you get the mountain, you get the sunset, all your pressure drops," unquote. Lopaka White learned about the lives of the longtime Lahaina family from Auntie Sally de los Reyes. Quote, "When I had to learn how to body surf, you crazy if you work against the ocean, against the current. You get too tired. You just wait, and it'll help you," unquote. Finally, there is Luis Garcia III, who talks to Kaliko Storer about his and his family's life as fishermen. Quote, "I learned to fish here with my grandpa. When I teach someone and they catch, I get more excited than they do," unquote. These stories will touch, edify, educate, and connect the viewer to the lives of these people and provide an appreciation for what was and for what can be. This exhibit is free and open to the public at the Cannery through October. You can hear the stories on site by using the hashtags, or you can go to the Maui Public Art Corps website, mauipublicart.org/Lahaina Mo'olelo, for links to each of the stories. Then it was off to the Kahului side for the return of the Maui County Fair. It's been 5 years since the last Maui County Fair, and Maui came out big time for this one. Because the War Memorial Gym is still being renovated, the student art and horticulture shows, as well as the quilt, fiber, and orchid exhibits, were housed in the former longs by the old bus stop in Ka'u'umanu Center. This year, there was a truly distinguished group jurying these young Leonardos and Fridas. There were Phil Sabato, Sidney Yee, Nida Bangerter, Jan Sato, and Michael Takimoto. There were 5 categories: high school seniors and juniors, freshmen and sophomores, grades 6 through 8, 4 through 5, and K through 3. I must say, our art teachers are doing a great job. There were a best of show in each category and a first, second, and third prize, as well as honorable mentions. What a wonderful thing to put on one's resume. This was the best of the show of the 11th and 12th grade high school entries. It is a pencil self-portrait of Maui High School senior Kaylee Yagi. Mr. Ross is her teacher. I have always said the true test of an artist is their ability to work in pencil. Ms. Yagi passed that test with flying colors. Another of Mr. Ross's students, Braden Martin, was the first place winner with this delectable painting, 808 mixed plate. Couldn't you just snorf it all down? Isabel Cooch, Miley Getsons Jr. from Kihei Charter School, got an honorable mention for this marvelous untitled watercolor of a tiger amid flowers and water. I guess there weren't enough accolades available for this marvelous photo by Maui High School senior Amanda Juarez. The young artist turned what would have been a rather mundane if the photo had been framed horizontally and vertically, but this diagonal framing gives the work a mysterious air and brings out the depth in the work. Her teacher is Ms. Long. The best of show among the 9th and 10th graders was another of Ms. Getson's students from Kihei Charter School. Sophomore Isaiah Montero did this outstanding depiction of a mother's nightmare entitled Organized Chaos. This powerful pencil portrait of Lady Liberty in Tears by Haleakala Waldorf 10th grader Levi Boyle, who is Ms. Young's student, demonstrates not only a highly skilled artist, but a young person who understands that art can be more than just pretty pictures. This is May Concert, a painting by Maui Wai'ana Intermediate 8th grader Erica Barut, who is a student of Rachel Shin. It was judged best of show among the 6th through the 8th graders. This pastel of the basic shapes called archetypes demonstrates a high level of skill, and for this to be done by a 6th grader is rather astounding. Sahara Payne, a student of Maka'ala Palmores at Haleakala Waldorf School, did this outstanding work. Here is a painting called Sad Stars by 1st grader from Pu'ukukui Elementary School named Kealia Fujii. Her teacher is Mrs. Mira. I don't know where or how a 1st grader could see such an image, let alone create it with such depth of feeling. This mixed media work called Patches was done by a kindergartner from Maui Prep, Lonnie DeProza. Her teacher is Mrs. Kuhn. Just breathtaking. Princess Joy Gira, a 5th grader from Kahului Elementary School, whose teacher is Ms. Kamali'i, looks like she has been studying the work of Sally French. Ms. Gira has details throughout the work that cause the viewer to delve deeper into it. Look at what the aliens have. Check out the astronaut and the space shuttle. She puts in signs to emphasize the meaning in the work. It is a very sophisticated piece. Well, that's Curtain Call for this week. Mahalo nui loa for tuning in. I'm Paul James Brown. Maui strong. Ahui ho.